Well, homelessness continues to be a crisis in our communities, especially during the pandemic. Access to resources are more important now than ever. Our Kenesha Dees hears from Huntsville leaders on how they plan to help.
According to the National Alliance to End Homelessness, more than 460 people on a given night are homeless in Huntsville and North Alabama. City leaders and law enforcement hope that this expo will provide necessary resources for the homeless population.
We all know that mental health sometimes experience homelessness or some stages of homelessness.
Terkesa Coleman Lacey with the City of Huntsville Development teamed up with the Huntsville Police Department to help.
They have grown and they're warping into so many other roles.
HPD Community Resource Officer Johnny Hollingsworth points to mental health to identify people who are homeless.
A lot of our street homeless, probably about 60 to 70%, has some form of mental illness.
Crisis intervention training officers at HPD have also partnered with Wellstone Behavioral Health to begin a telecommunication program.
We have the ability when they're out on the scene to be able to use an app on their computer and connect with mental health professionals at Wellstone.
And what we seek to do is we seek to utilize screening tools such as the HMIS form to determine appropriateness for housing programs that we have here at Wellstone.
Leaders say it's important to remember that homelessness can also be identified as people going through financial strain and on the verge of homelessness.
If I'm a mother, single mom, or an intact family that have just fallen on hard times.
Leaders say a good place to start, call 211.
211 is our primary local resource agency that they will be able to connect to and then therefore move to the next step to be able to get the assistance.
Putting the Valley first, Kenesha Dees, WZDX News.